The largest dump in Bitcoin's history. That's what we saw today. I invited Carl from the moon over to my channel to talk about price targets and where we could potentially see this to go in the longer run. So if you want to know where Bitcoin's going because you want to make money trading, definitely pay attention to this video. Let's get it. BitSwap is the hottest new way to trade tokens. Crawling all the top decentralized exchanges, BitSwap gets you the very best price and value for your trades. BitSwap is changing the game. Try it now at bitswapdex.io. Hey guys, I'm joined with Carl from the Moon YouTube channel. Thanks for joining us, Carl.
Thank you so much for having me on the channel. Always an honor. I love the channel. I watch your videos every now and then. Very cool.
Yeah, thanks, Carl. So guys, Bitcoin, am I right? Big, huge dip today. A lot of people are questioning where the market is going, and I want to bring on Carl. He's, an expert in technical analysis, an expert in understanding where the Bitcoin price is going. He leads his audience every day on his channel multiple times. So I kind of want you to just give us an overview of where do you think the bottom of this dip is, and what are some key levels people need to be paying attention to?
Yeah, let's get into the charts because it's important when we see big volatile swings that we don't panic. We just take a step back and we take a look at the charts, and that's what I always try to do on my channel. So yeah, let's get right into the Bitcoin chart. All right, guys. So here you can see this is on the 4-hour time frame, and when you zoom out, let's just zoom out a little bit first, and we can see that we are seeing a significant dump, but in the bigger time frame, it's not enough to panic. But let's go into the 1 hour and take a look at it because it looks worse when you zoom in, of course. Yeah. That's why we always want to take a step back before we start to panic. Now, why we're dumping, you can say that we did see a small bearish divergence here. And I love looking at these bearish divergences. I think that you should always take a look at the RSI. This is the RSI down here, Relative Strength Index. When you have a high and a higher high in the price and the opposite in the RSI, that's a bearish divergence. And this is something that I even talked about on my video I uploaded earlier yesterday. And this is visible on the 1 hour and also on the 4-hour time frame. You can see here that we also saw the same here, a bearish divergence like that. Now, they are not guaranteed to play out, but this time it worked out quite nicely. As you can see, we're seeing a dump here on the 1 hour and 4-hour time frame. But where is the support? That is the big question, right? And let's just go back to the 1 hour. And I want to show you this EMA ribbon. This is an indicator that I like to use because usually when we see a clear uptrend like this, usually when we break this ribbon, that is usually time to pay attention. That is usually a good time to sell. And this time, this did work out after we see support a few times here. We saw a couple of bounces, and this is where we broke it. And now we're technically in a 1 hour downtrend. Going to the 4 hour, we can see that we have not broken this level just yet. So on the 4 hour time frame, according to the EMA ribbon, we are still in a bull trend. If you use this lowest EMA, which is the 55 EMA. But let me also just isolate the 20 EMA on the 4 hour real quick, because I think that it's a very important EMA. Let me just delete the other ones like this. And now we're left with the pink or purple line here, which is the 20 EMA. And this is interesting because look at this. Ever since we broke above it here, you can see that we've basically been riding this 20 EMA very nicely and gotten very nice bounces off of it. Like, I don't know how many, but maybe 10 bounces. And I usually say to people that as long as we're above this level, that's usually a good sign because we usually get bounces off of it. And if you go to the Bollinger Band, you will see that this EMA is basically the, you have the moving average and the EMA, but they're basically the middle of the Bollinger Band. And if you look at the moving average or the EMA, they usually line up pretty nicely. So, but I stick to EMAs usually, not the moving averages. And what we can see now is that the Bitcoin price is breaking this very, very key level. And what does this mean? Well, this means that we're technically, according to this EMA, in now a downtrend, and this should now start to act as resistance rather than support. So if we did top out now, and if we are entering into a downtrend, well, let's take a look at where is the potential bottom, because that's what everyone wants to know, right? And in my opinion, I think that we can consult the Fibonacci retracement tool. I love this tool. I think it's very, very powerful. And one level, or the most important level, in my opinion, is the golden pocket, or the 61.8% Fibonacci ratio down here. And well, that lines up at $40,000 approximately. So in my opinion, a target, if this was the top, then $40,000 could be something that could easily happen without Bitcoin becoming necessarily bearish. This would just be bearish on the 4-hour and maybe daily time frame. But yet again, if we zoom out, this doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to see a big bear market jump in. This would be like a correction, right? So if we were to go from the top down to $40,000, then this would be a correction of 30%. Yeah. And I mean, that sounds horrible. That sounds like a big correction, but in a bull market, we see this all the time. Actually, if you look at this correction right here, this was exactly 30% as well, like 32%. So this is well within the realms of possibility to see something like that. And when these things happen, people always panic. Just like back here when we saw a big dump, people got super panicky and people thought that this is the end for Bitcoin and we're going back down to 5K. And I mean, at some point we will see that scenario play out, not 5K, but we will see a huge correction. But this is not enough price action to determine if we're going to see that now or not. So far, we have barely even touched this uptrend. We're still in a parabolic uptrend. In my opinion, Bitcoin is still looking bullish on the bigger time frame. If you go to the daily and bring out the 20, let me see, 20 EMAs. This is the 20 EMA, and well, we're still clearly above it. And as long as we're above this level, I think we have to remain bullish. And if we bring out the moving averages, because on the daily time frame, I do like the moving averages rather than the EMAs, the exponential moving averages, or I like both. But if I use moving averages, I tend to use them on the daily time frame. You can see that the 20 moving average, we got two nice bounces right there. We got a nice bounce right there. When we broke it right there, that's when we saw this dump, which was a quite significant dump actually, 20% or so. Now we're still clearly above this level, and Bitcoin can go all the way down to 47,000 and still remain in a clear bull trend on the daily time frame, according to the daily moving average. So that would be a correction of approximately maybe 20% or so, which is nothing in a Bitcoin bull market. Yeah. So I guess what I'm saying here is that Bitcoin is still bullish. We haven't broken this parabola, in my opinion, and we can go much lower and still remain bullish. That's kind of my my analysis here. So we shouldn't go all panic mode just yet.
And that's good. I know that's definitely what the people want to hear. I certainly don't think there's anything to panic about right now. I definitely believe that prices are going to bounce back, but, you know, kind of like we saw back in early January, sometimes you just got to, you know, sit, be patient and wait for a good entry, and you'll be paid off for it. Definitely. So, Carl, thank you so much for joining the channel today, showing us these charts. I think that has given everybody, you know, a good peace of mind when it comes to where Bitcoin is going. So you guys make sure, go down below in the description, click on Carl's link, make sure you're a subscriber to the Moon crypto channel. If you want a lot of technical analysis, breakdown, he's definitely the guy to show it to you. Carl, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me on the channel. It was an honor to just show your audience what I see in the Bitcoin charts. And I love making these videos. It's just so amazing. And I can see it's probably the same on your channel, right? People are just smashing the likes like crazy, more than my other videos. So it seems like people love these collaborations. It's like this synergy.
So synergy. I love it. We'll have to do one live in person one day. But yeah, like I said, Carl, thanks for joining us. Everybody, make sure to smash the like button while you're at it. That's all I've got. Be blessed. BitBoy out.